Dolls are something we've all been around, whether it being your mother's, your sister's, your grandmother's, or your great-grandmother's. Finding it in a basement or in an attic, we've all been around them, some even being handed down generations. But what if I told you some dolls had an extremely dark history, some being possessed, and others even at the short glance becoming completely cursed forever? Today we're going to be diving into the world of the most haunted and cursed dolls ever. What's going on, everybody? My name is Chris and welcome back to Scarier Than You Think. As I said in the intro, today we're going to be diving into some of the most haunted dolls ever created, whether on purpose or by accident. Some people inviting some type of demonic spirit into the doll, and others just getting them handed down from generations, and unfortunately that doll being cursed in and of itself. So sit back, relax, and if that sounds good to you, let's hop right into the video. Annabelle. The story of Annabelle became infamous with the release of the Conjuring and Annabelle films. The real Annabelle is a Raggedy Ann doll. It doesn't look too sinister, but made quite a name for itself in the 1970s. Annabelle was given to a nursing student named Donna by her mother. Donna and her roommate Angie lived together with the doll for almost a year, then oddly enough discovered that the doll would sometimes be in different rooms and even sometimes be in different positions as well, meaning that before they left the doll on the bed in the bedroom, coming home to it being in the bathroom, sitting or standing. It even got so extreme to the point of where they would come home and there would be handwritten notes on parchment paper in red pen, or red crayon, or really anything that would leave a mark, where the doll was more or less asking for help. It got so bad that the girls decided to take the doll to a psychic medium, who told the students that it was inhabited by a deceased girl named Annabelle. After they more or less allowed the deceased girl to move into the doll, things started to get extremely dangerous, having them getting locked out of their house, all of their walls being covered with red marker, and having them be asleep and hearing the doll more or less walk around. It got to the point of where they had to call the Warrens in, Ed and Lorraine, who pretty much made this story public, where they had to handle this with extreme care. They were able to put it inside of a spirit box, where as long as you don't touch it, it doesn't allow the spirit to get out. If you've seen the Annabelle movies, then you know that this story is pretty much exact. The movie did it very well, with explaining the story about the doll moving in different positions, on top of the things that those people went through, Donna and Angie, when dealing with this doll before Ed and Lorraine Warren had to step in. Akaku. If I butcher that, I'm sorry. Akaku was purchased by a young man sometime around 1918 in Japan, as a gift for his younger sister. Tragically, after that year, the little girl passed away from several cases of the flu. The family created a shrine in her memory, placing the large doll on display. Sometime later, though, they noticed the doll's hair, which had originally been cut to a short bob, had grown past its shoulders. When the family finally moved in 1938, they decided to give the doll to the Menji Temple, who still takes care of this doll to this day in its ever-growing hair. I just want to say, man, the doll grows hair as soon as it's placed as a shrine for this young girl who unfortunately passed. Its hair started out right here and grew all the way down to past its shoulders. This is not a chia pet. This is something real. I don't know where it's getting its life force from, but I'm glad that it's somewhere safe where nothing can happen to anybody. One of the more lighthearted on this list. Lily. Now residing at Zach Bagans of Ghost Adventures Haunted Museum, Lily was made in the 1980s in Germany and actually features real human hair. According to the museum's Facebook post, she was discovered by an antiques dealer who took her home, but began having recurring nightmares about a little girl who got into an extremely bad accident. She was subsequently put up for sale at the antique shop, but on one occasion a customer came in and bought her for her little girl, where then her daughter sat and talked to this doll as if she was interacting with a little girl her age for around 3 hours. She informed the proprietor that Lily was a little girl who had been subject to extreme violence. And even when Zach saw this doll for the first time, he felt an immense amount of energy radiating off of the doll. Listen, man, I'm just telling you, if I'm sitting there and I have somebody or a kid or something and they're telling me that they're talking to this doll, I'm gone. Chris is gone. I'm not playing that. I'm just not. Robert the Doll. I just want to preface to say, you looking at a picture of Robert the Doll does not get you cursed. There's a huge stigma online that says that if you look at this picture of Robert the Doll, you will become cursed. It's not really how the story itself goes. The story goes, Robert came to the Otto family of Key West, Florida in the early 90s for their youngest son, Robert Eugene Otto. The boy and the doll became inseparable, with Robert even sometimes blaming the doll for the things that he was doing. The family then came on record to say that they would find the doll changing positions, kind of like how Annabelle was. Finding it in different positions. If it was laying down, it was now sitting up, or it was even in a completely different room. They could also hear Robert having conversations with the doll, and the doll even responding in an extremely weird, deep voice. After Eugene's death in 1974, Robert was given to the East Martello Museum in Key West, Florida. As I explained in the intro, visitors who decide to visit Robert and take a picture of him without any permission have been subject to extreme misfortunate and even some type of tragedies, being that one man actually took a picture of Robert the doll without its permission and got into a car accident on his way home. Luckily, no one was extremely hurt, but still, that's no coincidence. If you decide to visit Robert, you will also see that in his case, there are letters of people apologizing and asking for forgiveness for taking a picture of him and realizing, well, now it's too late. Ruby. Ruby is a porcelain doll that has a penchant for moving around from place to place, currently residing in the Traveling Museum of the Paranormal and the Occult. Her previous owner said that she originally belonged to a little girl in her family, who unfortunately died while holding this doll. Following that tragedy, she was passed down through generations until she currently resides with that museum. Visitors report experiencing an overwhelming feeling and sorrow radiating off of this doll. This kind of goes with the doll from before, where it was put on a shrine where it continued to grow hair even though it's not real hair. This is kind of the same thing. The little girl was holding this doll as she died, meaning that some bit of her life force or something had to have gone into this doll, or something. Because people are saying if you go near this doll, you start to feel dread, you start to feel bad, you start to feel like crap. That just goes to show how powerful these things are. Not these things, but the fact that you can almost inhabit these things. But honestly, who knows if it's even the little girl? It could be something completely different. Letta, short for Letta Meow. Letta is a 200-year-old wooden doll with human hair. He was discovered beneath a house in Wagga Wagga, Australia by his current caretaker, Carrie Walton. Walton told the Warwick Daily News, "I reckon he walks in the nighttime. We came in here as a new house, and I've never heard so many strange things in my life." Walton has found multiple scuff marks on his floor, and objects missing with the doll actually having them in his hands. Walton has made Letta more or less some kind of figure for haunted dolls, bringing him on multiple different tours, on top of even having his own Instagram account. Mr. Fritz. Mr. Fritz is a haunted ventriloquist doll. He's been around since the 1940s. There's multiple cameras and multiple surveillance on this doll at all times. And there's actually a lot of footage of this doll not only moving its eyes, but also its mouth. And if you're wondering why the case is chained up, well, it's because he's opened it multiple times. So they had to put a chain around it so it stopped opening the door. The owner of this doll has also spoke multiple times that there has been no windows or anything near this case, meaning that when it was opening and closing by itself, it was surely the doll. So the fact that there's no open windows, there's no ventilation in that room, and they had to put a chain on it due to the fact that it was constantly getting opened and closed by this ventriloquist doll. I guess my question to you guys is, how powerful can these things actually be? So that is actually going to do it for me today, guys. Hopefully you did go to enjoy today's video, and if you did, don't forget to smack a like on it. That'd be greatly appreciated. I know these are haunted dolls. No one was being unalived by them or anything like that, but still, I think it kind of, makes me, personally, it makes me think like, wow, there is other stuff, and the other stuff is extremely powerful. Like the one where the girl was put on the shrine, and then the doll was growing actual human hair. I find that to be absolutely insane. Comment down below what you guys think. Also, comment down below what else you guys want to see on the channel. With all of that being said, my name is Chris, and of course, I will catch you guys in the next one.